Yeah, welcome to Coffee and Cannabis. I'm your host, Dr. B's Big Leader of the East, and this is my co-host, Gretchen Gailey, hailing all the way from D.C. Please give it up.
Hello.
So we are back home, the other side dispensary, 36 Congress Street, Jersey City, New Jersey. Make sure you pull up, all right? And we're drinking K1. You guys already know our local bodega, so make sure you support. And no guests, because it's just me and G. We wanted to unfold all the things that have been happening with all the candidates that we've been speaking to. So, we wanted to really have our own dialogue, break down some things, and also tell you about some things that we have coming up. Our season finale, we're about halfway through right now. So we have NECAN coming. G, you got some stuff going on too, right?
I'm working on, hopefully, Senator Street from Pennsylvania. He is one of the main sponsors of the adult use bill that they are proposed there right now. And so I know they're excited to come and talk to us. That
is going to be very interesting. That is a hot topic, hot state that people are really paying attention to, right?
Yeah, I mean, they've been paying attention to, what do you want? Well, they've been paying a lot of attention to Pennsylvania for years because they've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Yeah. I want to say, off the top of my head, I believe Pennsylvania did medical use in 2016.
Okay.
And when they first legalized then, they didn't have flour. It was extremely restricted. They actually had pharmacists in the dispensaries because they had to do a compromise to get Republicans on board to really roll out a medical program.
Right.
So since then, they've expanded it. They've expanded the various conditions that you can be a patient for. And Pennsylvania really does have a good medical program.
Right.
They have over 800,000 patients actually registered. I think that's a good number.
It's an amazing number.
Compared to a lot of other places.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
New Jersey right now, I went to the CRC meeting this past week. And by the way, guys, we are filming actively in the dispensary in the middle of the day. So if you hear a lot in the background, it is because, there's customers in here. But we went to the CRC meeting.
Yeah.
58,000.
Oh, bless
patients.
your hearts.
5'8". I was so blown away because it's such a shame because most states always roll out that way. So to see like the medical community sort of get dumped after, I mean, I've said it since the beginning, and I own an adult use dispensary, but I was a medical patient. I am a medical patient. I care about the medical community. PA definitely did that part right.
Yeah. Well, and I think we see that in a number of states. Once the adult use side comes in, a lot of states just kill their medical programs, which I really do believe is unfair to the patient.
Absolutely.
And so I hope Pennsylvania in their efforts to become adult use really do keep the patients in mind.
Right.
And don't tax them, and they really try and make an effort.
Yep.
But Pennsylvania should be interesting. Social equity has always been a hot topic there.
Yep.
And frankly, Pennsylvania is one of I believe the closest divided state legislatures out there right now. I believe by one seat in the House divides them, and just a few in the Senate. Okay. I mean, it is extremely close.
Okay.
So for them to get anything done, they have to come to real compromise and really make the effort, which in this partisan world we are not seeing.
Yep. I was going to ask, what's the governor's position? Is the governor
Governor loves it. Governor
Democrat?
wants cannabis so much. Josh Shapiro, he has been on board. He has called for it in his state budget a couple of times the past few years. And so everyone keeps hoping that it's going to happen. And, of course, Pennsylvania has not come up with their budget yet for this year. They were supposed to get it done by, I want to say the beginning of June, but shocker, didn't happen. So they're still working on it. There are hopes that they're going to roll out maybe a slim budget in the next few weeks just to get schools up and running in the fall, and then go for a bigger budget down the road. So that's what we're kind of hoping for, and that way cannabis still has some legs.
Right.
If they had to come to an agreement now in August, cannabis isn't going to make it.
Right. Well, for those of you who don't know, Gretchen is actually from PA, so resides in DC and has been doing politics down there.
Pittsburgh, PA.
So
Go Steelers.
Yes, shout out to Steelers. I too am a Steelers fan. And
that's why I care so much about Pennsylvania. That's the only reason I know that much about Pennsylvania.
Right. But it's a really important state to know a lot about because They are so divided, and it's interesting because like Jersey gets a lot of the spillover from PA because of the medical program. It's going to be interesting to see how that's going to affect the market that's down the shore.
Well, and also Pennsylvania is completely surrounded at this point. You got Jersey on the east, you got New York to the north, you got Maryland in the south. You Ohio in the top part. You got a little bit of West Virginia, but no one really cares about West Virginia. West Virginia does have a medical program.
Do they?
They do.
Oh, I don't know.
They just started one. Yeah, exactly. So it's okay. We love you, West Virginia. But basically, the state is surrounded. The nickname of Pennsylvania is the Keystone State because it is the center. It is a massive state. People don't realize how big Pennsylvania is.
Yeah, it's big as hell.
It can take about 7 hours to drive across the whole state from end to end. So it covers a large region. A lot of people, 14 million people live in Pennsylvania.
Shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in Pennsylvania.
I think Jersey's like 8, right? 9? Yeah, it's like 9 to 10 million.
We got we got Pittsburgh, we got Philly.
Right.
There's a few stuff in the middle, but very much in the middle.
Right.
Which is what makes it so conservative.
Right.
It's very red in the middle, and then you got blue on the ends.
Which is why the social equity component is probably so important to them, right?
Right, and especially with everything only being divided by one seat, then they can make the push for it. And while I'm not entirely opposed to the concept of social equity, what we've seen is it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
And we haven't seen any state put together a good plan on it. And if they were to continue on with that idea, I really would hope that they would rebrand it. Because, as we know, social equity is kind of a non-starter, especially with this administration.
Right.
And so we don't want to go down that road. I do believe Pennsylvania is interested in looking more at the economic viability of candidates versus their race, which would be a much better argument when it comes to dealing with the conservatives and getting them on board this legislation. So
I agree.
That's the hope. And frankly, I honestly, I think that's what it should be.
Yeah.
It should be based on whether or not you can operate a business.
Right.
Why is that not first and foremost? Can you operate a business?
You know, that's... New York doesn't get a lot of love. I will say that is the number one thing that I think New York did very, very well. They required...
What do you think they did well?
They required on their application that you had 2 years of business experience.
Like, okay.
Listen, it's not the greatest, but I think the reality, and in my experience being in this space, when you want to be an entrepreneur, when you want to jump into a business, this is not the business to be your first business.
No.
At all.
Not
this
at all.
This is a dangerous business to be your first business.
You can't give folks a lottery ticket and then put them into the most highly regulated industry with every loophole, pitfall possible for these people to fall into.
No tax relief.
No tax relief, no small business loans. Red tape upon red tape. If you're not used to dealing with one bureaucracy, you got to deal with like 3 or 4 now because you got your local, you got your state, you got the feds, you got all these different people you have to deal with. It's mind-boggling to me that people, I understand everyone thinks that this is a cash grab, they're going to make all this money, you know, yay, we're just selling weed. No. There's a lot more that goes into it, which people, including politicians, do not understand.
They do not understand.
And we have seen this time and time again. Speaking to lawmakers who come up with these promises that go nowhere because they don't know what the hell they're promising. They don't understand the industry.
They have no idea. And I want to say that I feel like that's probably one of the most common themes that we've seen in the show thus far. But what do you feel like, you know, and all the people that we've spoken to, I think thus far, right, we're halfway through.
Yes.
I mean, from the Jersey City local level, from the mayoral race, legislatively talking to Katie, and then Ricky, who went all the way to the federal level and really, he's probably the only one who knew anything about weed. What do you feel like some of the other themes of like what we're learning are some of the bottlenecks from the political sphere of this?
I mean, I think that's a huge question. I think when states are putting together their plans, they aren't considering at all what's going on the federal level, which is absolutely nothing. And so they come up with these ideas, especially around the taxation rates of what it should be, not realizing how businesses are being impacted by like 280E. Right. And don't have that relief that a normal business would with being able to take business deductions. Right. And I've been to a couple conferences this summer as well. I've been to the American Legislative Exchange Council. That's all conservative lawmakers. That's all that goes there.
Okay.
And then I've also just recently, this past week, National Conference of State Legislatures, which is a bunch of folks. And honestly, this conference they just had, largest gathering of state lawmakers ever.
Okay.
It was a massive thing. And every lawmaker I talked to, every one of them were telling me how much small businesses were hurting in this industry in their states. That the larger operators, the MSOs, they're doing okay. But the little guys, they're like, we're seeing consolidation. We're seeing people go out of business after a year. It's just not happening.
Yep.
And so while I think they could be doing more for them on the state level, I think a lot of that is also because the feds have not moved to help out where small businesses could get help, like the Small Business Administration or various loans and things of that nature that could really help. But also just like with the taxation piece. People aren't realizing, I remember when like Washington State first legalized, they were almost taxing the product at almost 100%. And we're wondering why no one was buying weed. And it's like, are you kidding me? And so a lot of folks, that's one question we get a lot when we're out talking about what's a good tax rate. Mm-hmm. And when I used to work for New Frontier Data many moons ago, we decided, I think the number we came up with was around 27% was the number we found people will transition from the illicit market to the legal market. Okay. You go much above that, no. People will stay where they're at and they don't want to switch. Yep. And when I say 20%, I mean 27% total.
And that was from the data?
Yeah, that's from the data.
Well, that means that California is about to shoot itself in both fucking feet because I think they're at like 44 or 49.
It's insane. Maryland, which had a great rollout, did very well in their first year, has just July 1st raised their tax rate up to 33%. And it's like, they're like, yay, we're making money. Now we're going to tax the hell out of it.
Yep.
That's the number one thing. Lawmakers need to stop taxing the hell out of this industry. We asked all these state lawmakers how much of their budget is really made up of cannabis tax revenue. It's a drop in the bucket in these state budgets. Yep. You're not going to get rich or save your state just on cannabis revenue. That's not going to happen.
That is very true. Because I feel like we're seeing it on all levels. When I think about my experience here in Jersey City, they raised $500,000, but I think their budget is like $700 million or something like that. Like the cannabis tax, like we want them to understand that yes, it is definitely an economic driver, and there's a lot of community investment and good that it can do, but it's also not your savior.
Right. Well, and there are other benefits that you get. Talking to a lawmaker in Oklahoma, because I was telling him his state was a shit show, and he didn't see it that way whatsoever. And I was like, have you really been around the cannabis industry much there? And I don't think he had been. But he talked about how the cannabis businesses were the ones who came in and fixed up a lot of dilapidated buildings and were helping with property values. And so there are other ways that this cannabis industry can help be an economic driver in communities that lawmakers aren't looking at. I mean, you yourself, when you moved into the dispensary, you did a lot of work on this building, didn't you?
Oh my God, it's been empty since 1970.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
How does a building sit in a community for almost 50 years with nobody in it?
Well, initially my block wasn't even zoned for this kind of stuff. So it was like a car garage before this. And then I guess once the car garage moved out and the zoning changed, it was just empty. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But it definitely obviously changed the aesthetic and the outside of the block. Yeah. But I get a lot of customers that are just happy for our presence because our signage has lighting, which illuminates the block, and there's a train station right down the block. So when people are walking home, like they feel like it enhances their safety. Yeah. So there's more good than just the monetary aspect. So tell me what you feel like are the gaps between the political promises and what actually gets done. Because I feel like, going back to the Dem that we had previously, Biden, and he made a lot of promises. And now a lot of people are also standing on some of the promises or the inferences that they have on our current president. Sure. What do you think about that?
Well, everyone knows how I feel about good old Joe Biden. I think the problem is they make promises that are definitely too big for them to keep. So Biden, his major promise was no one was going to go to jail for cannabis. Right. Okay, well, Joe, you got to do something to make that actually happen. Right. I mean, you can't just pardon some federal offenders for like single possession use and think that's going to do anything.
Right.
And I mean, what would that do? It helped like 5 guys. It did nothing.
Right. And a lot of them have state charges anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, the bulk of cannabis charges are all going to be on the state level.
Right.
I believe the numbers I've heard recently is there may be about 1,200 people still on the federal side in jail for cannabis possession. I'm not sure the various degrees of cannabis possession that they had and how much they're tied up in other various charges, because that's what it always is as well. No one goes to jail just for I had a joint and they threw you in jail for 20 years.
Right.
You may have done something else and happened to have cannabis on you when it happened. So that's a big issue. So they make these big promises. Donald Trump, he in the past campaign trail on his Truth Social had said that he voted for Amendment 3, which was the adult use law in Florida, because that's where the Big Don is actually registered to vote, and that he was on board with safe banking. That's what he said in his tweet. And so from there, people have made a lot of hopes and dreams with this administration that stuff's going to get done.
Right.
I've had conversations with the administration that says that they are open to rescheduling to Schedule 3. Because this is a way to take away something from Biden that they did not get done.
Right.
Everything stalled in the ALJ hearing. I do believe that the administration likes sticking it to the Dems, and so that may be to the benefit of the cannabis industry.
Wow, spite is the way to progress.
Spite is how I live my life. It's the best way to go. So I really do think, that is, I think it is a good possibility. Now, another thing people always forget when it comes to Washington is, yes, they may make promises about cannabis, but then you get Ukraine, you get Israel, you get ICE raids, you get 4,200 other bigger issues before us.
Yep.
And as much as a politician may have a good intention to do something, we just get kicked down the road.
Right.
So I think it is so important for us to stay on top of these folks.
Yeah.
And to keep reminding them of their promises. And I'm talking letters, I'm talking showing up on their doorstep, I'm talking about going to the Hill. Anything you can do to remind people, you promised this was going to happen, and if you don't do it, we're going to vote you out.
Right.
We need to actually make cannabis a single issue for voters. It just isn't.
Yeah.
Nobody goes into the poll booth and decides, all right, I'm going to vote based on how a candidate feels about pot. That's not their number one issue.
That's true.
So until we start to do that, until we start to flex some muscle, we are not going to get any love or respect from politicians.
Yeah. So depressing.
It happens.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, but it's still fun. I mean, I love it. I keep waiting for the day that the cannabis industry is going to get some balls and destroy a politician.
Yeah.
And say, you didn't take care of us.
Yep.
We're going to take you down.
Fight the good fight.
I would love to do that.
It's obviously not happening enough, and I think the direction that more people are understanding that is, I guess, helpful in the advocacy space is the storytelling aspect.
Yeah.
And I love that we've consistently asked every single candidate, would you be out there? Because I think in breaking the stigma, the storytelling, listen, a lot of you politicians, I have kids. I know that everyone has a story of something that happened in their life, that made them change their perception,
Yeah.
We have to go back to connecting with those stories and being like, you know what? I had a kid that got caught with a joint, in 11th grade,
Right.
and I was a mom, and I had to deal with what that looked like. Just because you're a politician doesn't mean you don't go through real life, regular things. And I think by connecting with the community and letting them know, listen, I know I had this stance once upon a time. I'm backtracking, course correcting, whatever, learning, unlearning, because I had an experience that transformed my perception.
Right.
I don't understand why more people are not really, really, going into storytelling and understanding that that's how you can win some of this next level of Generation Z and voters and stuff, Right.
And something that we often say to the older generation of politicians is we ask them, do you know somebody? Do you have a friend who might be using this for, medical purposes? Do you know anyone who's smoked pot or done anything? And they're like, yeah. We're like, okay, did you call the cops on him? did you immediately report them? This is against federal law. This is your job to uphold the federal law. And they're like, no. And so they're like, so you're good with this person breaking the law, but you're against these people breaking the law.
Yep.
You don't see that as hypocritical? And then they're kind of like, and then it's like, all right, guys. So either you're going to enforce it, throw us all in jail, or realize that these are dumb laws that just need to be fixed.
Yep.
And then they're like, okay. And I remember talking to one of the biggest prohibitionists on the Hill.
Who's this?
I'm not going to say who.
Okay.
But they're a big no.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of no's, so whatever. But this person posed the same question to them. And they're like, that'd be really unpopular if they started locking up people.
Right.
We're like, are you out of your mind? But you have no problem jumping up and down saying gateway drug and losing your shit when, we try and propose legislation.
Yep.
But the second that you might actually lock someone up in your district, whoa,
Right.
yeah, I'm not going to do all that.
Right.
And it's like, dude, give me laws.
Yeah.
Or throw me in jail.
Yep.
That's what we want. So.
A lot of hypocrisy, a lot of contradiction. In everything that we've learned about some of the people that we've spoken to, what do you feel the role of local government has in like shaping the cannabis success? Because I'm experiencing it in real time. And, just 2 years ago, I was on this journey of trying to open this place. And I think a lot of the governments that have, or municipalities, I should say, that have allowed for cannabis, they all wrote these policies and these ordinances and things in theory. And if some of them went and looked at other best practices, we don't know.
Right.
But they sort of just threw whatever at the wall and saw what stuck. And now that we're actually here, we're actually operating, we're seeing what the volume is like, we're seeing what the market is demanding. Now we're seeing what the policy is in effect.
I think what local lawmakers, state lawmakers really need to be doing is, yes, they're the laboratory for what is going to happen at the federal government. And they need to realize that.
Right.
They need to not just be focused on what is good for my state here and now.
Yeah.
They need to be looking a little down the road. What will be good for my state when the feds come into play 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road? How is my industry going to be able to continue to grow? Nobody looks down the road. Everybody is like, all right, what do I got to do to get a budget passed in the next month?
Yep.
And just, I don't care. They need to be looking. So like one piece of legislation that's currently out there is the Preparers Act. That was sponsored by Dave Joyce of Ohio. And it's the sole purpose of this legislation is to prepare the federal government for legalization. Because once we get into these different, actually try and legalizing, so many agencies are going to touch the plant.
Yep.
You're going to have the FDA, you're going to have HHS, you're going to have Commerce, you're going to have Ag, you're going to have ATF. And who knows who's going to play what roles. And so the Preparers Act is really trying to figure out how is this all going to work? How are we going to tax it? How are we going to test it? States need to be looking at that as well. Right. All right, so a lot of states, they set it up starting with their Department of Health.
Yep.
They do that for a year or two. Oh, okay, not a good plan. And then they move them over to maybe the alcohol folks. And they need to really start to think long term about this. They can't just be looking at it as a way to fill the budget gap.
Right.
They need to be looking at, and I don't fault them for not knowing what they're doing. I mean, how many politicians are actual business people?
Right.
The bulk of them are lawyers.
That's very true.
And so many of the state lawmakers are also part-time.
Yep.
There's not, they don't, they got real day jobs.
That's so crazy.
I mean, I forget what Maryland is. I think they're in session maybe 6 weeks out of the year. That's it.
Goodness.
I mean, Texas, they're in session once every 2 years. So, yeah, there are other states that are like that. Yeah, once every 2 years they show up. Don't even get me started. So it's just crazy. So, like, they are so focused on just jamming stuff through in the limited time that they have to get things done.
Yeah.
They aren't looking at the big picture.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think and I know a number of states have gone to other states and see how they do it to try and figure out how they're going to set things up. I think it's not about just talking to the states. It's talking about to the local businesses, seeing how it has actually impacted business owners. What are their problems?
Yep.
And I don't think politicians do that enough,
Agreed.
understanding the real issues in the industry. Because politicians have in their mind, oh, this is a great tax number, because they're thinking about how they're going to fix their budget shortfall. They're not thinking about whether or not people are going to stop buying weed from the guy in the corner, or if they're going to walk into a store.
Yep.
They don't think about that stuff. They don't think about the numerous costs that go into running a business. Good old New York. Love New York, however. Their whole problems right now with having to tell businesses, oh, we might have messed up in where you're located, so we're going to give you a few bucks to try and move.
That was nuts. That was nuts. And a few bucks, $250,000, that's like, oh my God.
It's insane.
Criminal.
It doesn't do a damn thing for these people.
Yeah, you invite them to build an industry with them, with you, and then tell them, like, sorry, we made a mistake, and here's a little bit to fix it, and
my bad.
Good luck.
Yeah, now that I know they're working on some legislation now to try and grandfather those businesses into where they're already at.
Yeah.
But it's like, come on.
Yeah. My problem is always like that legislation dropped after there was a huge outcry. I mean, that did not look good in the news, on LinkedIn, on Reddit, all the things.
Right.
So they come in with a quick solution. Why does it always take that? Like, what if everybody didn't say anything and just like took the L? Because that often happens in cannabis. People are afraid of losing the opportunity, and those governing bodies, they just like let them slap them around.
Yeah.
What if no one said anything?
Then they would get slapped around. Politicians don't care. If there is no public outcry, then they're not worried about losing their job.
Right.
That's what they care about. They don't care about whether or not they fix the issue. They care about, will I get reelected next year? Oh, wait, this might be a problem. Let's deal with it.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, the cannabis industry totally has to understand that pattern, because look at how Texas and New York, both of them, when cannabis came together and everyone was loud on the issues. I know in Texas, you had a lot to do with that, with bringing Ricky to the table. I mean, that became a national thing. Like, oh, Ricky said something about it, and now we can't make this happen. He went to school here, all these things, right? The public perception, but at the end of the day, to your point, those politicians want to get reelected.
Right.
The outcry and the unity is really what's moving the needle.
Yeah. I mean, in Texas, they're still not done. I mean, there's the whole special session that's going on right now, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with him. But that's what politicians respond to. I mean, I love Washington more than life itself. I like to walk out my front door. I see the Capitol. I get a little warm glow in my heart. I still feel like a patriot. But it's definitely not how I felt when I came to the city over 20 years ago. Like, I came, like every kid does, wide-eyed, Mr. Smith goes to Washington, we're going to change the world. And then the swamp quickly beats that out of you. But, like, you learn how to play the game and deal with it and, try and actually get your issues through and what it takes to get it done.
Yep.
But this concept that politicians do things for the right reasons is ludicrous.
I know. But I will say, and we have spoken about this with Ricky a little bit, like, I think that's a great benefit that you and I have, is that we've been inserted in these systems and these institutions, that we've learned how to navigate them, whether we like them or don't like them, we understand them.
Yes.
And have figured out how to, comprehend them and disrupt them. I think that that's a great benefit that we have. And that's why I do love running this dispensary, despite the fact that they are choking me in every single aspect that they can. I'm understanding where the real bottlenecks and pitfalls are.
Right.
And when it comes to the local government, I mean, the state and the local government, local municipalities having more conversation before the rollout, I think is one of the most crucial components of doing this successfully.
Well, in another place where, frankly, I think the industry is failing right now on the political scene, there's been some press recently about the amount of money that has been donated to the administration, to the president's various PACs and things. Because I think a lot of these MSOs think we're just going to write a check and that's going to get it done.
Yep.
It's a drop in the bucket to how much money this president raises. I'm not saying that doesn't mean he doesn't care about it, but it also doesn't teach him anything. Yep. It doesn't educate him on what the real problems are going to be. No one is out there really pushing for Washington to understand the problems of this industry.
Yep.
I don't see Normal walking the halls of the Capitol anymore. I don't see, there's no MPP, no NCIA. There's none of these supposed associations who care about us out there doing the work. Yep. Everyone thinks they can just write a check and get what they want. Right. But half the work is educating the lawmakers on the good policy.
Yep.
I mean, Rand Paul is honestly our biggest advocate currently in Washington. And nobody likes Rand.
I know.
Which, honestly, it worked. He got the hemp language pulled out of the appropriations bill last week and kept hemp alive.
Yep. Thank you.
So thank you, Senator Paul. But it also takes someone like that who does not care.
Yes.
He's a politician that does not care. He loves to, get into it. And he's sticking up for the folks in Kentucky, which is the hemp industry. Mm-hmm. And he was a big pusher of hemp back in 2018 when it first got into the Farm Bill. So I can see why he was trying to keep it alive. And screw McConnell, he's out anyway, so I don't know why we're still listening to him. But so we have Dave Joyce on the House side, but not many others. You got Brian Mass, he's fighting from Florida. Yep. We have a handful of folks. Burchett, he's great. He's also a guy that just doesn't care. That's what we need. Those are the advocates that we have, or people who just don't care. Yeah. There's not enough of those, though. And frankly, we also need to be getting along with the Dems to get stuff done. Yeah. Yes, the Republicans can ram stuff down people's throats, but I've been talking with some folks about Texas trying to redistrict so they can pick up more seats, and how it's a possibility that may backfire and they're going to lose seats. And it's all just this ridiculous game. And so it's like, can we just play on both sides of the fence? How hard is this? I think that when we tell our stories, people see how this impacts everybody, whether or not you're blue or you're red. And especially if you're telling stories from the medical side. People understand the need for patients to have this. So it's, why can't we get past that hurdle? And it drives me nuts that we don't go more for a national medical bill. Yeah. No state has been able to go adult use full blown. Right. People don't get on board with that. Yep. So that's why I do see rescheduling to Schedule 3 as a good thing, because it'll allow us to do research. It does help with 280E, yep. And perhaps can start to give some of the data points to the lawmakers that they want to get us down the road to full legalization. But I was talking to some lawmakers from Tennessee this past week who were like, okay, we're good with 3. And these were very conservative men. And they're like, so that means we can get cannabis in a pharmacy now, right? I was like, not exactly. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, sure, if it goes to Schedule 3, but it's still not going to be an FDA-compliant drug. Right. Give it another 10 years, Senator, and we'll get there. Right. And they're just like, huh. And I'm like, yeah, this all takes time. I don't know why everyone thinks this all just happens miraculously overnight. Yep. Weed's going to be on the stores and pharmacies. At CVS, you can pick it up. Good. Go for it. And it boggles the mind.
I mean, and that might not be what the end result of what this looks like. Yeah. But I think what a lot of people need to consider about cannabis is that what it looks like right now may change time and time again for the next 10 to 15 years, depending on, if it does get rescheduled, if it's directly AU. I mean, if I had to hire a pharmacist to work in here, that would completely change my model. Yeah. And it also would make it a lot more expensive, which would then make it not as accessible to those social equity or disadvantaged businesses. Mm-hmm. So it's complicated because some states that are medical require you to be fully vertical. And if you're fully vertical, then that means you have to have a lot more capital for startup, right? I mean, Florida has 25 licenses. They have over 900 stores. Don't quote me on that, but they're between 500 and 1,000. But that's 25 licensees. Yeah. So that means truly, for example, just one operator has 150 stores. Yeah. That's crazy. But also they're doing everything and they're manufacturing everything, but their medical model is really talking to the medical community because there's not a lot of the branding, it's very, very CVS. Yes. Right. So I'm not sure that would be equitable, but I think it definitely would be the way to at least transform everybody's mindset on it, because what people also don't understand is the consumer base or just regular residents. Yeah. There has to be an educational campaign. There has to be something to get people on board.
Well, and I think that probably works so well in the conservative states. Right. Because really, when you look at who is not legalized in any form yet, they are very red states that have not gone. And they don't want it. Right. I have talked to some folks from Kansas who are completely surrounded. They got Colorado on one side, Oklahoma on another. I guess maybe is Nebraska above Kansas? Pretty sure they don't have it yet either. But either way, they got a lot coming into their borders. And the last thing they want is even medical cannabis.
Are they losing money?
They don't care.
Do they need it?
They don't want it.
Even if they need it?
Doesn't matter. They don't want the devil weed. Which, and they hate the smell, and they're like, if I want it, they'll just go across the border. And it's just like, okay, well, what about your patients who can't get it?
Right.
Who would want it? And they're like, well, they can go somewhere else. They do not care. They don't want it. And I've had states ask me, because they don't want to go medical because they believe it'll go adult use then. And I'm like, well, some states are still medical and have not made the transition. There's nothing saying that you can't stay medical if that is what your state wants.
Yep.
So I really do believe in a states' rights approach to this industry. I think medical should be available everywhere.
Yeah.
But if a state doesn't want anything beyond that, they shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
And especially if states don't want it, fine. I don't care if Idaho ever gets weed or not for the 5 people who live there. Okay, if that's, and I mean, I have friends, and maybe I have terrible friends, who base where they live off of gun laws. A lot of conservative friends who are like, I want to, and so I think if you are that into your cannabis and you have it, you'll go where you want to have it.
Well, I mean, I guess that's true, because I definitely wouldn't move anywhere that I couldn't be gay.
See? I mean, there are different reasons for everybody.
I really struggle. I have to look for somewhere I can be gay. I can have guns and fucking weed. They're like, how can you be somebody that wants all 3?
How many states will allow that?
Jersey.
To be gay, guns, and...
Right here, baby. Jersey. That's it.
I'm trying to think about it. I can't think of that many.
There's Connecticut.
Okay.
Not New York.
Not New York.
Unless you're upstate.
Right.
Which then, you're with 5 people like Idaho.
Vermont and New Hampshire don't have it, even though they're like live free or die. They don't mean it when it comes to cannabis. They would just rather you die.
Canada? Do they have guns in Canada?
Canada? I'm not Canadian.
Do they use guns over there? They're so nice.
But I'm sure they got like hunting rifles, right? I mean,
Maybe.
they shoot like
They
moose
definitely
and stuff.
got weed. They got a lot of fucking weed.
They do.
Oh my God. I don't know what we're gonna do, G. It's been illuminating.
Yeah.
I will say, because I think for the audience also, like, they get to see, like, these elected officials, one, there's so many topics that are at the top of their list. They know so little about weed. I mean, I give it up to the people that have at least come on this show.
Right.
They
know willing to talk about it. Yeah.
Exactly. They're at least being willing, and they know a little bit, but there's so many like nuanced parts of this that people are just so uneducated on, and they really, really do not understand how it's affecting the industry.
People do not have a clue at all. And they're running for office, and they don't understand that, especially Jersey City.
Yeah.
How many dispensaries you guys got here? Like 100?
So the cap is at 48. That's funny, because I just finished writing a white paper that I'm about to publish, and it is not really necessarily about my dispensary, but just the current state of the industry as a whole. Because like I said, they did this rollout 23, 24, actually 22, 23, and now 24, 25, we get to see what it's like in practice. And it's a shit show.
Yeah.
There was 16 in 2024, and now in 2025, I think there's 25 of us. Mm-hmm. One of them has already closed, but there's 48 there's probably more than that in the pipeline because they've approved about 60.
Yeah.
But the cap is 48. So what happened was they approved more.
So they approved 60 total?
Yeah, and then they made the cap after the fact. So they had to grandfather in the other ones that, came to the table. And some of them haven't actually opened yet.
Right.
So we don't know if they're going to come to fruition. I think the city's hope is that they see what's happening and people just disengage.
Sure.
But the ones.
That's not how you build a market. Let's just hope people go away. Are you kidding me?
Well, the other thing that I think that they're hoping is that some of them actually do fail.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sure they are.
Not that I think they wanted them to fail from the beginning.
Let's be honest. Yes, they do.
Some of it is that. But also I don't think they realize how volatile this is.
Right.
Going back to they don't understand business. In the white paper, I addressed that, everybody made the comparison to liquor stores. But what people don't consider is that cannabis is not a fixed price commodity. So the price fluctuates based on the demand, based on the illicit market, all of these things. So the data that our CRC presents sometimes seems skewed because they'll present that we're doing really, really good, but they don't understand that there's a heavy debt load that's being managed right now. And as soon as people can no longer manage it, then either big companies like MSOs are going to sell off their assets and they're going to exit the state, or smaller companies are just simply going to close. And it's going to be this ripple effect. So 60 dispensaries, 48 on the cap, 25 existing right now. I think that this market would have done decently at 15, which is actually the cap in Newark. Newark has probably 100 to 200,000 more people than Jersey City.
Yeah.
But it also just had the other dispensary that closed, which was Astoria.
Yeah.
And that was in Newark.
Okay.
So when you look at the comparison, people thought that 15 dispensaries would have shielded Newark from this possibility because Jersey City had 48. But the reality is that even with more people, with the largest city in the state of New Jersey and a celebrity-backed and well-funded dispensary, still 15 was too much. So what does that say that's going to happen in Jersey City? I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, you can see, you can project, you can look at the landscape of what's happening. Why are people so delusional? What makes them think that the math is not going to math? This is just what's going to happen. If the debt load is too heavy, if there's no capital available, if the feds are not leaning into giving people a persuasive feeling that this is a possibility, then that means that the investor in the private equity pool dries up because they think that there's no possibility.
Right.
It's a fucking trickle effect. I hate it here.
So trickle down economics is a real thing in cannabis.
I hate it here. But also I love it. But also I love it because we get to fix some shit that I'm just like, how do you people not see all these problems? And why don't you just listen to us?
Or you just keep hitting your head against the wall for another 10 years.
Yes. Go talk to people.
Right.
Talk to operators that you can see are, trying to do things right. I get that that's a hard thing to navigate.
Sure.
Who's here just for the money grab? Who's an MSO just trying to pay their way to get what they want?
Right.
I understand that that's difficult, but find the operators that are committed to supporting you build it. Find the ancillary people in the space that have also seemed committed and get their insight and support them to build it. Because just simply asking, oh, what state did it well and let's copy them.
Right.
Nobody's
done it well.
None of the states have done it well. Stop copying them. You're copying their mistakes.
Right. Until a state actually starts to take into account what is happening on the federal level, they're going to set up a market to fail every time.
Yep.
I truly believe that.
Yeah.
I am so hopeful this administration is going to do something.
I know you are.
I am. I'm hopeful in the next... I am hopeful.
Hold my breath.
I might hold my breath. We'll see. I do believe by the end of the year, if people aren't lying to me...
Okay.
Which is a big if in Washington, that something is going to get done on the federal level. And I'm not talking about some bill to research or, some bullshit that vets can now talk to their doctors.
Right.
That's talking to a friend of mine, Sean Kiernan, he runs Weed for Warriors, drives him out of his gourd how much they talk about these different things going to benefit veterans.
Yeah.
Especially the rescheduling efforts.
Yeah.
He is like, how's rescheduling going to help veterans?
Yeah.
Tell me. Yeah. Please tell me.
Yeah.
And nobody can give him real answers. I mean, it's just crazy. And he's like, stop propping us up during an election year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
This is some bullshit.
Some of this stuff is just to we did a little bit. Here you go. You love vets, right? Look, now they won't lose their benefits. Now they can tell their doctor. And it's that's not really anything to fucking clap about because the reality is that should have never been a thing in the first place.
Yeah. It's not happening. He always says, find me a vet that has lost all their benefits because of cannabis. Yep. No one can produce someone.
Yep.
So, and I'm not saying that there shouldn't be legislation out there not to try and move forward and help veterans.
Right.
But, dude, stop putting him out there as like the pony show of like, yeah, this is what we've done. We've done something to help.
Yep.
So you want to do real help, low barriers to entry, low tax rates. That's how you help a veteran-run business thrive.
Yes. Because my state loves to make me a poster child.
They like, I'm shocked you're not like on billboards.
No, because I'm not that nice. I don't really like them. But I want to help them. I want to help them because I love this state. And I love when we get to go out and when people say, who's done it the best? I'm like cringing a little bit because I don't necessarily think we did it the best, but we are one of the best, right? Like you've seen a lot of different states. I mean, what is your opinion?
I mean, I'm biased because I do love Pennsylvania. Like one thing that Pennsylvania did was they put in their first regulations that you had to be up and running within a year if you had been awarded a license.
Okay.
If you didn't, took the license back.
Yep.
So they wanted real players with real money to show up and actually try and run businesses.
Right.
So I think that's why they got their market off to a good start. I think Pennsylvania can come with good, pragmatic, adult use legislation if they are willing to work together.
Right.
If they put the bipartisanship aside.
Right.
It's like, or the partisanship aside. It's just nobody wants to see politicians going at it and getting nothing done.
Of course not.
We enjoy poking each other and yada yada. You know, everyone loves that stuff. Everyone loves Trump, railing on people, whatever. But come the end of the day, people are still pissed off that, gas is high, groceries are high.
Yep.
It doesn't matter who comes with the solution. That's what people want. They want to see politicians actually doing something for them. That's the number one complaint of people is that politicians aren't doing a damn thing.
Yep. And
why? Just because they hate each other.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, they just want to say no on whatever bill or whatever just to stick it to them.
I mean, when I started on the Hill, that was kind of the start of the Tea Party. And we thought they were a pain in the ass. It's like, I would shoot myself in the head if I really worked on the Hill now. I do not understand how anything gets done. I mean, we all used to hang out. You go out, you talk to each other. You don't even get into politics.
Yeah.
Dems and Republicans could hang out. You had a good time. Does not exist in Washington anymore, which is crazy.
Yeah, this is a really toxic environment that's been curated because I feel like I used to feel it like towards the end of the military too, like that the division. You really start to feel it.
It's too much, and so you take the toxic world of politics, you throw in the toxic world of pot, and try and figure out how to make it all work together, and it's just not happening. And we need to do the education piece. I mean, I think, and people don't like to admit this, that hemp is not helping the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
And cannabis shitting on the hemp industry is not helping them either.
Right.
Politicians do not discern the differences.
That part.
They don't get it.
Yep.
And frankly, they got too much going on to get it or to care. So we need to come together. Mm-hmm. And hemp industry needs to align with cannabis on one plant, one set of rules. Everybody gets tested. Everyone's compliant. Age gating for psychotropic effects. You can't be just selling gas station hemp weed crap on the counters to kids. That's what's pissing people off. That's what's getting you banned. That's why they're coming out with legislation that they were trying to get through, banning all THC in hemp products. Yep. And that would have totally gutted the cannabinoid industry.
Well, you add in the psychedelics and the psilocybin and the mushrooms and all that, and it's like, it's getting complex for them. They don't get it. And
truly, the one good thing that I like about Rand Paul's Hemp Act, the bill that he has proposed, is he's asking lawmakers to to regulate the final product, because that is a big issue with hemp. Is what it is in the plant and then how it fluctuates and becomes this or that and wet weight, dry weight, all sorts of junk. Yeah. And it's like, politicians don't even understand the plant itself. Why are you going to try and help them understand 200 different cannabinoids? Screw that. No. Yep. This is what's in the final product. That's what we need to care about. Yeah. I mean, it just makes common sense. Common sense does not exist at all.
Yeah, my understanding is that they pull the harvest early so that the testing is very low, right? And then also they don't understand the concept of the THCA conversion to THC once it's ignited with flame, with fire. So some science to it that they obviously, if they don't understand the plant, they definitely don't understand any of the science stuff.
Don't try and deal with the science. Even the FDA, who has scientists, are like, I don't want to touch it. I mean, come on.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. And these are the guys who are in charge.
I know. This is nuts.
I don't understand how I'm not the drugs are yet. This does not make sense to me. Put me in, Trump. Come on. I mean, I don't know what they're waiting for.
I need to be the drug czar.
You
gotta start taking some drugs first.
Well, that's true. But just because I don't consume does not make me a good advocate. I think it makes me a better advocate for the industry.
Tell them why, because some people feel otherwise.
Well, they can suck it. Because I am a good advocate for the industry, even though I don't consume, because I see the benefits. I see the medical side of it. I see the business side of it. And the fact that somebody who doesn't use it can see this and help to promote it to especially other folks who don't see it or use it, I think goes a long way.
Right.
I mean, not to say that they think this of every cannabis advocate who walks in there, but they're all, oh, you just want to get high.
Right.
No, I don't even use it.
Right.
Absolutely not. And then when you start getting into your stories and talking about it, yeah, my mom took it. They have their own stories of, yeah, she had chemo. She needed to eat. She needed to get better rest. Like, they have these stories. They get it too.
Yep.
And so we need to be able to relate to them. Yeah, then change the laws. You understand the benefit of this plant. You know what it is. Just care. Care for 5 minutes. It's not that hard. That's what I do every day.
Well, we got some things coming up.
Yes.
Right. So we already talked about some of our guests, but our season finale is actually going to be at NECAN in Atlantic City, 2025, September 6th. We have an incredible guest still within this political sphere, but they're coming with a major announcement. And they're coming with some big energy, and it's definitely somebody you guys are going to want to see and speak to. Are you excited?
I am. You know how I live for the energy and the stars and the moon and all that jazz. I can't wait.
I can't wait. NECAN has been really dope here in Jersey because it's just grown year after year. You really got to see like the initial players in the market who were trying. Some people fell off, you don't see anymore. And some you got to follow their journey and see where they landed. And I think that this is going to be the first year that you see like a lot of the businesses that are finally developed and are like pushing forward and really staking their claim here in New Jersey. I think we're going to see that energy. 420NJ Events has a whole panel of a bunch of different topics, financial, policy. I'll actually be moderating their policy panel, so make sure you're there for that. And then we're going to do the live show.
Yeah.
And the live show is going to be incredible because the audience could watch it there and be able to actually, like, we do it in the dispensary, but like they're going to be there with us. And they can ask some questions.
Throw stuff at me. That's cool. But like, I love shows like NECAN because I do think that a more regional show is the direction this industry needs to be going. They're the ones who get where you're coming from state by state, especially with these state by state markets. Yep. People are always like, oh, are you going to this thing? Are you going to? No, I'm over it. I'm not going to a show with 40,000 people who are looking at like Dirts and Light. It's hilarious.
So true.
No other industry in the country is like, here's an accountant, here's a guy selling dirt, here's some lights, buy a safe, here's some packaging. They all have their own shows. They do their own things. You go for specific reasons. And we're just like, throw it all under one roof, have at it. No.
Yeah, you're right.
It's crazy.
Jalen's back there laughing because
it's true.
An accountant and some dirt and then seeds. It's crazy. But you're right. NECAN is great because it's regional and it really gets, how every market is a little bit different and really brings the players of those markets together because, MJ Biz is great and, you and I have gone plenty of times and it's sort of like a reunion.
Right.
But does it actually help your market that you're operating in, especially if you're so far? Probably not.
Right. And when it comes to the local issues, and we have to be honest, especially in cannabis, local is where the rubber hits the road. Yep. That's where things are getting done. People, you can have discussions with your fellow businesses, understand their problems, and see that you probably have a lot of the same headaches. Yep. And be like, all right, let's pull it together. Let's actually try and get some shit done. Exactly. And so I think that's why things like NECAN are great. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. And I've never spent more than like 2 hours in Atlantic City. So I'm like, all right, I might buy some saltwater taffy or something. I don't know what y'all do there. What? What else is there?
Of all things in Atlantic City, fucking saltwater taffy, seriously?
Am I going to go to a casino? I ain't got no money. I'm in cannabis. I'm not doing that jazz.
Fucking fair. So fair.
It's ridiculous. Oh my God. Else is there?
Oh, so much.
Like what?
All right.
I can't wait. Atlantic City, show me everything that you got that's amazing.
Jalen, should we do a video that's like a tour of all the places we take Gretchen?
You can put me on like a little tandem bike and we can like go see.
Yes. You're welcome, Atlantic City. I'm going to give you some free promo.
Y'all have Miss America. Is Miss America still there?
That was a Trump thing, right?
No, that's Miss USA. Do not paint Miss America with Donald Trump. When I was a little girl, I loved Miss America so much. My mother wanted me to be Miss America, but I didn't have the legs for it, is what she would say. I'm like, thanks, Mom. But
so kind.
1989, Miss America was Gretchen Elizabeth Carlson. So being
Gretchen Elizabeth.
My name is Gretchen Elizabeth, and being a Gretchen, you know how you go in places and they have all the fun name license plates and all the jazz. They never had Gretchen. I was like, meow. So all of a sudden, it was so exciting to me to meet someone who was also named Gretchen. First other person I ever met that was Gretchen, and then she turned out to be Miss America. And so we went, and I got her autograph at the mall, and it says to another Gretchen Elizabeth.
Aww.
And I was like, And then fast forward 20 years, I work at Fox News, same place Gretchen Elizabeth Carlson worked, as she was the Fox and Friends morning anchor. And like one time she came down to DC, and I was like, oh my God. And I took my autograph picture with me to work, and I'm just like, look, I met you when I was 8 years old. I'm your producer now. Yay. And she was like, Jesus Christ. Like, she felt so old. Like, oh, this kid.
Damn.
But in a nice way, in a like fun, sarcastic way.
She
is a lovely woman. She was very nice. But I was just like, she was like, oh.
You were a reminder.
But I was like, you meant so much to me when I was a little girl. And yeah, it meant a lot to me.
No, that's
so I still love Miss America.
That's a nostalgic moment, but I don't know.
Tell a Republican I love Miss America.
I don't know how much of that is still going on in Atlantic City, but it's an incredible place. Yeah. It's one of my favorite cities, and being in New Jersey and being in North Jersey for me and my family, it's like a great getaway.
Okay.
Staycation. So I'm gonna show you around.
Pittsburgh people, we don't go to New Jersey. They always go south. They go to like Ocean City, like Eastern Shore, Maryland is where Pittsburghers go. Yeah. Or we go to Deep Creek Lake.
Okay.
Or you go up to Lake Erie, and my parents used to call it the Polish Ocean, because you're like, you think you're at the ocean, but no, it's really Lake Erie. But if you're a dumb kid, you're like, yay, we're at the ocean. And it's only,
I was about to say, there's no ocean at all over there.
No, that's why they call it the Polish Ocean. It's a bad Polish joke.
I never heard that. I'm sorry.
Well, if you're from Pittsburgh, that's what we call it. Yeah, the Polish Ocean. Yeah. But if you want to get in the car and drive 8 hours, then you can be at the beach.
Okay.
Which nobody wants to do with a bunch of kids. So you go to Lake Erie and you're like, where are the waves? And the kids are like, don't worry about it. Just make some sand castles.
I can't stand a lake because I don't like still water. It makes me nervous.
Well.
I need it to move a little bit.
We didn't know any better. It's either that or the rivers in Pittsburgh, and they ain't much cleaner, so.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, we will definitely be, I can't say that at the Atlantic City beach.
Are we going to put our toes in the water?
We totally can. I can't promise that something might not bite you.
What's going to bite me? Is it going to be a crackhead?
No. I'm just joking.
Come on. Is Atlantic City clean?
No. All right. Let me give you the backstory.
Right. Okay.
It's simply that y'all know I love Atlantic City, so let me be very clear. The difference is that a lot of the beaches in New Jersey, you have to pay for them. They are not public beaches. They are, yes.
Another cash grab by the state. I said it. She didn't.
Right. I literally was about to say, I did not say it. I think the local municipalities actually make the money from that. Okay. So, yeah, I guess another.
How much do they charge to go to the beach?
Like, how much is it? $7?
What?
Yeah. I mean, the parking is always like 50, 60. It's nuts.
That's highway robbery.
To get on the beach, it's anywhere between.
I'm not 7 foot on that beach.
No, but Atlantic City is free.
Okay.
So the
why is Atlantic City's beach free? Because they're desperate to get people to go to the beach?
I don't know if it's that they're desperate.
Yes, that's a yes.
Or if the cities just haven't like put the services to collect that as a fee. But the difference is that your experience in one of the beaches that costs something is generally better because they have now funding for the services that take care of the beaches.
You are not selling this trip to Atlantic City very well.
I'm so sorry. So all I'm saying is that the benefit is that it's free. The slightly challenging part is that there's
I'm going to step on a needle in the sand is what you're telling me.
It's not that bad. It's just not that good.
Well, and that's why I'm only getting saltwater taffy.
All right. I'm not telling this good. Listen, meet us in Atlantic City, September 6th. We don't got to go to the beach. We can go to the beach. Whatever you want to do. We're also going to give you a side episode of me taking Gretchen around because it's going to be too good.
Oy, oy.
But listen, we're happy to be back and chat about halfway through the season. We did this for the summer, and it seems like it's flying by.
Yeah, I can't believe we're this far.
I can't believe it either, but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah?
Yeah. You've been enjoying it?
All my time up in Jersey, yeah, this is crazy. Learning about the Jersey political system has been eye-opening.
I was going to say, you've been spending a lot of time here now.
I know. Yeah. I feel like I live here.
I know. I love it. I love it.
I still love D.C., though. Sorry. Give me the swamp any day.
But it's definitely been a pleasure having you here and, bringing your policy and political knowledge to the forefront so that we can really bring clarity to the audience, add value, educate them, and also, kindly beat on some politicians or potential politicians.
I enjoy that. That's the fun part. And I even wore my leopard today. I was feeling kind of in the Jersey spirit. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to Jersey. I'm going to wear some leopard.
Yes.
I don't wear this in Washington.
Yeah. Shout out to Snicky. That's her vibe. That is definitely a Jersey vibe. So the next episode, we will be speaking to, I know we normally don't preview, but we're excited.
We're hopeful, it's going to be Senator Street. We talked to them about meeting up with them in West Philadelphia, so it'll be fun to go down there. And Philly, for those who don't know, are very hyped right now because of the 250th anniversary of America coming up next year, so there's a lot going on in the city. It's a good time to be visiting Philly.
Okay.
It's funny, I was up in Boston earlier this week, and they say, oh, we're the start of America. And I was like, oh, Philadelphia seems to think that they are. So it's entertaining watching these guys fight over the revolution.
Oh, yes. The founding of America.
But, yeah. So Philly should be a good time, and I can teach you some Pennsylvania shit.
Yeah. And, this has been cool because, we've, mostly done Jersey, but hopping down to D.C. and now hopping over to PA, it's been good to get a greater context of what's happening in this cannabis industry.
We should go down to Delaware next. They just started adult use, last week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
See how that's going.
Yeah. And that's going to really impact that the PA situation, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Well, listen, you're learning it all. You're getting it all. We're trying to bring it all the info, all the fun, all the knowledge on what's going on in the cannabis industry, as it relates to the political sphere, policy, and really just breaking the stigma because we want this plant to be accessible to everybody for many, many reasons. I share often how it has impacted and really saved my life in so many ways. And Gretchen has had so many people that she's seen that it's supported their journey. And that's why even as not being a consumer, she still strongly advocates for this plant. So we're here to continue week after week, bringing you new episodes of Coffee and Cannabis. So until next time, we will see you. Peace.